Hello and welcome to the Harryman Show, episode 57. Today we have guest Eric Henninger. I met Eric through social media through his growing popular drum channel called Drum Addict. How you doing, Eric?
I'm doing good, Dustin. How are you tonight, man?
Good. I know we had a little bit of a pre-chat though, but yeah, it's the first time we spoke in person. But yeah, I've been digging all the stuff you've been doing with the covers and all the shout outs. It's really good stuff, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And likewise, I'm a fan of your channel also, man.
Yeah, there you go. And we've been very supportive of me, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, my pleasure.
All right, so I want to talk about how Drum Addict started. How long you been doing that?
Well, in March it was 1 year. So if you go back and look at like in the about section, it says joined in September of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't do anything. It was just an idea at the time, and so I already set up a channel and artwork and all that stuff. And then when we moved in February of 2020 to North Carolina from Kentucky, we decided, my wife had said, hey, why don't you take this space and turn it into a little drum studio.
Mm-hmm.
And so that kind of was the idea. It's always been kind of just in my kind of on my heart to want to do that, like to play. I hadn't had an opportunity to really play in so long. So when I started, I felt like I was chipping the rust off. I feel like I'm always chipping the rust off. But
yeah, I can agree with that. But is it the silly question? Is it literally an attic in your house that you're playing in?
It's like it's a small bedroom upstairs. The house we live in is 110 years old.
Oh wow!
And this room, like, I'm a pretty short guy, but even I have to duck to get in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it actually has like the feel of an attic. And I thought that it sounded like a cool name,
Yeah, it kind of meshes well. Did that room have like a natural reverb to it, or was there a lot of sound treatments to get it to where it sounds like?
Well, it's all like old plaster and hardwood. Mm-hmm. So we just kind of put up. I'm definitely not a sound engineer, but we just put up some I'm going to even call it the wrong thing, like sound treatment foam kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Those little foot by foot squares, and just kind of put them in places in the room to kind of catch some of the sound. Got the carpet down. And so it's got so it's not a dead room, which I like. Mm-hmm. It's got a little bit of life to it. And then I'm a sucker for reverb, which maybe is a problem. Like, nobody's ever called me out on it and been like, dude, you need to calm down on that reverb.
No. That's one thing I was going to compliment you on when I listen to your videos. The drums have a natural tone reverb to them that I kind of dig.
Sweet. Good. I'm glad you like it because I dig it. But, it's one of those things, like, sound is kind of, or drum preference is in terms of sound is definitely a subjective thing. Somebody might love it and somebody might be like, I wouldn't have any reverb on it, so it's nice when people like what you're doing because you're like, good, because I think it sounds good.
Now, if I were a new subscriber, what videos on your channel would you recommend checking out right away? One of your favorites?
Oh, yeah, man. This is a tough question because
sorry, man.
there's some that I like for different reasons, Mm-hmm. So one of my favorites is an older one, and it's Still Breathing by Green Day.
Oh, nice.
And I like the first time I heard that song, their Revolution Radio album, I identified with it in terms of theme. So it's a real personal song for me, and I kind of share. It's part of what we do in the Drum Addict is we kind of share a little bit about why a song meant something to us or was important to us, and try to deposit a little bit of hope and faith and love and positivity, to those that are watching. And so we kind of share a little bit of our story. So sometimes we can be a little personal about stuff, but my whole thing is like if it helps somebody else out,
Yeah.
So that's one of my favorites.
Yeah,
and
how many do you have up currently? Do you think at the moment cover songs?
Oh, let's see. There's covers. We've been doing one a week in the end of March. So May? So maybe like 60 drum covers, and then of course we have our bonus videos, and we started doing some shorts and stuff like that.
And are you on a Patreon as well? I was seeing.
Yeah, I am on a Patreon, and I don't want to brag or anything, but we do have 2 patrons. And
congratulations! It's so good,
Yeah, well, it's funny because I'm thankful. I'm thankful for our patrons, of course. And so I don't mean to make light of it, but it's hard to make money doing it, you know, and I do it primarily because I like to do it, right?
Yeah.
But it would be, if I could do it full time and that's how I can make money, I would definitely ditch the full time job and do it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
I can understand that. So I want to pull it back. When did you start playing drums there?
yeah, so I started playing drums when I was 12 years old.
Nice.
Which so buckle up because you're not going to believe this. That was in 1987.
Okay.
And so I'm 47 now, so I've been playing for like 35 years.
You don't look that old, to be honest with you.
Thank you. I'm gonna like take this snippet and play it over and over again on my social media.
In your car on the way to work.
Yeah, that's right. I do not look that old.
Yeah, I mean that wholeheartedly is a compliment. I didn't think you were. I thought you were younger than me.
Oh, and how old are you? Is that okay to ask?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm 33.
Okay, great. Right, yeah, you see, I've got 14 years on you.
Yeah,
so
yeah, I would have not known.
So that's good. So I was 12. There was this kid in school who was just like a cool cat, man. That dated me. And to say cool cat, he had like longer hair, and he's always wearing like a Def Leppard shirt, you know. And
Badass.
I was like, you know, he's had drumsticks. He's always twirling them and playing on his desk. I'm like, this dude is cool. I want to play the drum. I want to play the drums.
Yeah.
So, and you know, to my parents' credit, they were like, all right, and they rented a snare drum, started taking lessons at school, playing in band, and then I started taking lessons on the kit at a local music shop. And my mom, to this day, she'll be like, I never had to tell Eric to practice.
Really?
And then when they realized that I was going to stick to it, they didn't mind investing a little bit more money, you know, into it.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I probably took lessons through high school and a little bit of college, and then and that's I've been taking an actual lesson in since like the early 90s.
Oh wow! So I imagine growing up in that time frame, you had influences like Van Halen and Def Leppard. Were those drummers you were looking up to?
Well, it's funny. I kind of have a unique story with that because all those bands were on my radar. I mean, I knew who they were, but I grew up like going to youth group and everything. Mm-hmm. So I really grew up listening to a lot of CCM music.
Okay.
So I'll throw a couple band names out here that people may know, may not know, but like Petra and Whiteheart and Audio Adrenaline and some of these guys. And one of the guys who is still like one of my favorite drummers, just to hear him play because he's solid. He plays to serve the artist and the song, and it's just kind of I've adopted that philosophy. But his name is Chris Mchugh, big session player in Nashville. He's Keith Urban's band leader on the road, and he plays on all his albums.
Oh wow!
But he played with the band Whiteheart, and then like with a couple other Christian bands at the time, and he was just a beast. And I would watch him play live, and I'm like, yeah, so like he was a big influence, and I feel like it's easy as a drummer, especially growing up like and playing a lot in church, to get really bored, and to try to do too much instead of going, what sounds good in these two measures that I have.
Yeah,
you know, you start to go, how many notes can I fit? You know, in this, and it doesn't serve the song. So
no, that's something I actually learned later in life. You know, because I was you know trying to get paid per note, and you know once you get, I think when probably the late 20s, early 30s, I started going, okay, I think I get it now.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know,
exactly.
in the time of your education, were you developing any kind of practice regimens, or were you kind of sticking to any books at the time?
So the books that I was working in, and if I'm honest, look, I really need to have a better practice regimen now as an adult. Mm-hmm. I feel like I spend so much time working towards covers that I spend less time kind of honing like the basics, you know. Mm-hmm. But when you have limited time, you're still getting better. You're still getting tighter. Mm-hmm. There's just maybe some stuff that might present a bigger challenge because I'm not like spending 20 minutes with rudiment, you know, and those basic chops. But when I was a kid, I was in the book Stick Control.
Nice.
It has the little colonial drummer on it. You know, it's still out.
Yeah.
Probably like in its 50th printing.
Oh yeah.
But
excellent book.
and there was it's a great book. It's a great book, and you can apply it around the kit too. I mean, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other book, and I really liked it. I don't know if it's still available, but it was there was one called the Rock and Roll Bible, and there was another one, and I'm going to say the last name wrong, but it was Carmen a Pice, Carmen a Piece, or Piche, or whatever.
Realistic Rock.
Yes, that's what it was. Thank you, Realistic Rock.
Yeah, I know that book.
Love that book.
You know, yeah. That I grew up in the pre-YouTube days, so like get my hands on books in a music store, and that was one of the big ones for me.
Yeah, or if there was a drummer you liked that had an instructional video that you could, buy or rent.
Yeah. They were like $50 a pop in the local music shop. It was hard.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, they were really expensive. That's true. I had a friend who had a Dave Weckl one, and the only thing I remember from this video, other than that Dave Weckl is the God among men, and I would watch him and be like, I'll never be that good. It doesn't matter what I do. But he did this one thing that sounded crazy, and then he broke it down, and I loved that he broke it down because it was just right, left, kick, kick. It was just this easy little thing, and he broke down the kind of this heel toe, double tap on the kick to get it faster, and I still use that today.
Yeah, and guys,
it's my trick.
And guys like that now just pretty much give away their education for free. You can pretty much find them on his Q&A every week, I think, on Facebook.
Yeah,
it's kind of a crazy concept to think how hard it was to search out that stuff. But since we're on that's the subject, how do you go about prepping for a song per cover per week? Do you just kind of map it out, or you just kind of run through and practice it?
Yeah. So the first thing we do is I'm kind of like type A about this, and I like to know what's coming ahead so that I don't find myself going, oh crap, what are we doing this week?
Mm-hmm.
So I actually have a partial list mapped out all the way through February of next year.
Oh wow!
Wow! And I just do that so I have a game plan. Mm-hmm. But then as we get closer, I'll be like, I don't really feel like doing that song, and then we'll change it up. But what the way I prep is we try to stay 2 to 4 weeks out. So like I've got the next 3 weeks done already. So then I'll sit down for a week. And there's some guys that are like, I don't even practice. I just sit down and turn it on. And I'm like, man, that was awesome. Like I would not sound that good if I didn't practice it. Yeah. But and then I just sit down. I spend my practice time, which a lot of times is my lunch break from my full-time job because I work from home, which is wonderful.
Nice, yeah.
And so I try to utilize that time when I'm able. And then sometimes I'll have like an extra time on the weekend, but I'll hone in on those 2 songs. Then Loretta helps me with all the filming. And sometimes she helps me pick songs too, which I love doing. And in fact,
not to interrupt you, but props to your wife. She seemed like she's very supportive, and yeah, I just want to give props to her. She's always involved in her videos. She seems very awesome.
Man, she is a rock star. Like she's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I know that it takes a special person to be married to an artistic person to begin with, and then to make it a loud art. Really takes a wonderful person.
Yeah,
so,
I think it comes down to supportive parents and a supportive, spouse. That's a big thing when it comes to stuff.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, I've said this on our channel before, and I tell her all the time, like we wouldn't have Dramatic if it wasn't for Loretta.
Oh wow.
Because even when I kind of feel like she's like, no, this is what you need to be doing. This is good.
Awesome.
And it keeps me motivated and keeps me going. And sometimes she'll be like, do we need to film this weekend? Like, yeah, oh yeah, we do. Yeah. And so that's what we'll do. We'll spend a week, and then on a Saturday or a Sunday afternoon, we'll head up. We'll film 2 videos and knock them out. And here pretty soon, we'll start hearing more from Loretta in the Dramatic because she is once a month. She's going to specifically pick a song and talk about why she chose it for me to play. She's like, I'm not going to play because she's not a drummer. She could do it if she put her mind to it. But but I was like, hey, and that was a big thing for her. I'm definitely okay in the spotlight. I like performing, So for her to want to do that is a big step for her. So I'm really excited to hear what she has to say and to share that with our subscribers.
Oh wow, yeah, she's awesome, man. And we're on that subject. What do you think the importance of the consistency of putting these videos out? Do you ever feel like you said unmotivated to do one week, or what kind of drives you to keep doing it, and how do you value that consistency?
Yeah, I think consistency is super important. I think it's in the fast paced world, I guess, of YouTube.
Yeah, everything is over in like 30 seconds, pretty much.
It is, and I think it would be very easy for people to forget that you're out there.
I like to call it we're all victims of algorithms. That's the way I always kind of look at it. Because
the
computer just shuffles you if it doesn't become viral within the first 2 hours, pretty much.
Right, and so you're always competing with that, and you never know what's going to catch on.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's kind of a luck of the draw sometimes, and I mean, we did one of the new 21 Pilots songs like the week it came out, and I was like, boom, this is gonna be wildfire, and we got like 130 views. So I'm like, oh, okay, so all right, whatever. But yeah, it's and I don't think it's necessarily about quantity.
Yeah.
I want to be careful because I don't want to like step on anybody's toes, but like we're doing basically two videos and a short a week. A short takes me like 10 minutes to start to finish, on YouTube, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's easy. But the bonus videos take a little preparation. Of course, the drum covers take some preparation. But we try to keep it set up to that even if there is something comes up and we're not able to film one weekend, we already have material ready so that consistency stays in place. When we do collaborations with other musicians.
Oh yeah, I noticed that. Sorry not to bring that up, but yeah, but you do a lot of duet videos with other channels as well.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun. It's neat. We've collaborated with people around the world, and so when we do those, we release the collaboration, but then I put our footage away for a rainy day.
Yeah.
Too. So like not to be heavy, but like when my dad passed away in February, he loved watching us. I was like, I know we need to keep going with this, but we needed some time off. There was a lot to take care of here. So we uploaded a month worth of, 4 videos that were our takes of the collaboration from other videos.
Oh, wow.
And the community was super awesome. Like I put up a little video and just was like, hey, this is what's going on. Please bear with us. This is our plan. If you don't see us being as engaged, please cut us a little slack, And everybody was super cool. Like, I think there's a really neat drum community on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
We all seem to be very supportive of one another. I mean, there's always trolls out there, but in terms of, so like they're going to be there. You can't do anything about those.
Yeah.
I was like, why did this person like my video? Why did they give me a thumbs down?
And it's just like anything else. You can't let all the comments or likes beat you up, or what I mean. You really just you have to keep carrying on, pretty much.
Yeah, you have to not take it personally. And it's funny how like one negative comment can ruin your train of thought for a day.
Yeah, I know. I've been there. I understand. I mean, just someone calling out a little thing going, and I'm like, oh, should I take it down? Should I re-edit it? Or, I'm like, no, you know what? It is what it is. I'm moving on.
Yeah, exactly. You got to let it roll off. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just being thick-skinned and just kind of continue into consistency. There's that word again.
Yeah, I think that's what it's about. Keep plugging forward. If it's something you're passionate about, don't stop doing it because some tool decided to make a rude comment without any drum videos of their own to back it up.
Yeah. Usually it's the people that don't produce anything themselves. And that kind of tells you everything right there.
Exactly. And it does. I think it takes a lot of courage to put yourself out there globally like that,
Yeah.
Because there's always this, again, it's subjective, right? There's going to be people that don't like what I'm doing. So that's fine. They don't have to watch, there's people that like what we're doing. So you kind of roll with that and continue to engage the community. And, but yeah, I don't think it's about quantity. I think it's about quality and consistency.
Nice. Now, to kind of change gears on you, you're currently playing a Tama Silver Star Maple Shell. Is that correct?
It's a Superstar classic.
Superstar classic. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's like a upper, lower to middle range kid. Like, but man, it sounds. I got some Evans hydraulic heads on there, and then Evans EMAD on the kick, and I think they sound great. Yeah. I've really been happy with them.
Yeah, and the maple shell really does add to that reverb in that room with you. That's what I was trying to compliment you on. That shell does sound like it has a very good solid tone there.
Yeah, they really do, and they stay in tune really nicely, which is fantastic. Usually around the changes of seasons, I got to tweak them, you know?
Oh, yeah, the change of temperature is going to, loosen or tighten up the heads there.
Yeah, so, exactly.
Since you have is that the kit you play live with, or you just kind of leave that in the room dialed all the time?
Yeah, that's my one kit that I have. It's funny, I've never had more than one kit at once, which is such a non-drummer thing to do.
Yeah, it gets pretty bad sometimes.
Yeah, there was we won't go into details, but there was a place in my past where I was kind of like forced into getting rid of some stuff, and so that's where some kits went. And I always traded in to get another kit, and there was a DW kit that I regret ever getting rid of because it was amazing.
Oh yeah,
and it was beautiful. Lavender satin oil with natural wood hoops and a natural wood snare. It was gorgeous.
Oh wow, yeah, it's always that one kit that got away, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. But I had a Stoner kit that was my son's, and then if you watch your channel, again, not to be heavy, but when he passed away, I gave it to one of his friends because I had always told him my son he could take it with him to college or wherever life took him.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And we always talked. Oh yeah, thanks, dude. I appreciate that. And we always would go look at sets, and so that's kind of where this kit came from. The year before he passed, we had seen this. It was a Gretsch kit, but it was like this blue and white. So after he passed, I was like totally buying a kit, like I'm going to do it.
Nice.
And so I found this Tama kit that was the same color, but I loved the blue to white fade. And this is a kit I won't get rid of. I've learned my lesson over 35 years. I still wish I hadn't given away the Stoner kit because that was special, But yeah, it's a cool kit, and I've kind of been. You probably know this too, but like recently we added a custom pork pie 13x7 brass patina to the kit.
Oh, nice! I have one of those myself too. They crack.
Oh, dude, I've not done anything to it yet. I took it out of the box, and I've been playing it like that.
Yeah.
That's how it came from the pork pie people, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. So I'm kind of further down the road, kind of thinking about maybe like one of their custom kits if I can afford it, and so we'll see what. I also kind of dig on some of the SJC kits, and so we'll see. I also, I like Tama. I'm not brand loyal. Like if somebody said, "Hey, we're gonna give you a drum kit," I'd be like, "Cool." So it can be Pearl, Tama, it doesn't matter.
So speaking of kits, what software are you running into, and what mixing techniques are you to get that kind of natural reverb sound there?
Yeah, so like I said, I'm not a sound engineer. So
no, I'm not putting it on you. I just like to see what people do.
No. I know. I just kind of making sure that I set it up for everybody, not to expect anything, any amazing secret.
Yeah.
So we're running into our first several covers we did with GarageBand through a Behringer 4-channel USB interface. And then over probably the last 6 months, had a friend of mine go, "Hey man, why don't you take one of my Logic Pro licenses?" I was like, "Okay, cool."
Awesome.
So we're mixing with Logic Pro, and another friend said, "Hey, I have this PreSonus 8-channel USB interface. Do you want it?" I said, "How much?" He said, "Just let me ship it to you."
Oh wow!
I said, "Okay."
Now you're cooking.
So that was really cool. Yeah, right. I was like, "Wow, what an unexpected blessing!" Just like out of the blue. I'm like, "Yeah, man, that's sweet."
Yeah.
And anyway, so our mic set up to kind of round the whole thing out. Man, I'm using cheap mics, dude. Like I paid $30 or $40 for my kick drum mic. It's a brand called Hemu. I think it's Hemu. I don't know. HEIMU. You could buy a whole set of mics for like $110.
Oh wow! I never heard it, but they sound good though. That's all that matters.
They work. And I'm sure like if I put a $200 kick mic on there, I'd be like, whoa,
yeah.
holy Moses.
Yeah.
But but I'm like, nobody's ever said, man, your sound is horrible. What are you using? You know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's good. And I'm like, if you're on a budget and you're making drum covers, you know, I think start with whatever you've got. But if you're on a budget and want to buy mics, buy something cheap and kind of learn to work with that until you can afford something in, you know, the next level up. And so in terms of mixing techniques, dude, I get so set in my ways. And so I have a sound that like a basic sound with like a I've been using the preset EQs. So people are going to unsubscribe to me now. They're going to be like, what? What a chump.
No.
And so like I love the rock snare and the rock bass drum EQs. And then I just kind of tweak with the different reverb settings. And I have like one that I like to play with and practice with. And then when I go to mix a song down, I try to EQ it and do the verb in such a way that it fits the song better.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but it's funny because I'm a big fan. I guess it's not funny, but I'm a big fan of a big snare sound. Like, you know, even though that little snare, that 13-inch, like really has a crack, you know, and it really pops, like you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, I feel like it fills the room, like it's present. It's not like this little tiny crack. It's this, I don't know, like it'll punch your heart out, you know?
Yeah, it's a great sounding snare. Well, while we're on the subject of YouTube channels, I know you're kind of forthcoming with your growth tactics. What's your advice to someone starting out, and what do you think that you regret doing growing a YouTube channel? What you're going to continue doing?
Okay, let's see. What do I regret? That's a good question. I think we kind of came into it with a game plan.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what I regret is thinking that there was a magic formula.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And you'd watch. I don't know if you've done this. I'll be the first to admit that I have. Some of them will come up in your feed. It's like how to go from 100 subscribers to 3,000 overnight.
Yeah.
And you watch it and you're like, this is crap. This is what I'm doing. Like, It's not magic. Like, there's no magic to it. Mm-hmm. You know, like, so, and even like I did a couple times, done something to try to be helpful, but intentionally titled it, like constructed it to where I thought it would draw some new viewers in. Mm-hmm. How to grow your YouTube drum channel, you know, like,
yeah.
And I think it got like 200 views, which isn't horrible for us. Mm-hmm. But it's not, you know, didn't blow up. So I think I just regret feeling like at the beginning that there was just going to be a magic video or a magic formula that was formula that was going to blow it up for us, you know?
Yeah.
Really, I think you've experienced this too. We were talking about it in our kind of our pre-chat. It's a lot of grind. Yeah, it is. Just doing it and putting material out, working hard to put out quality material. And I think the biggest thing to do, particularly in the drum community, I don't know, I can't speak to what it's like with other, you know, not societies, but other subcultures on YouTube. But in the drum community, I've found it. I've watched some channels that, as kind of as a test subject, but I've found that the channels that seem to be growing consistently, mm-hmm. maybe not like, you know, 1,000 subscribers overnight, but are 30, 40 subscribers every month growing, mm-hmm. are typically the people that you see when you go to watch drum videos, that you see commenting and engaging with other drummers.
Oh, yeah.
And musicians. And then I've also watched people that will respond to comments, but you never see them anywhere else. They don't come and visit your channel. And then you kind of watch it. And I don't say this to impugn them or anything. It's just an observation. You know, and then over like 6 months, they've only, you know, grown like 20 subscribers. Yeah. So I think there's something to giving back to the community, not just expecting people to come and love your stuff and engage you and subscribe, but to go subscribe, engage, support, mm-hmm. Comment, be involved, you know?
Yeah, there's a big karma system that doesn't play with that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's and I think people, here's my little rule of thumb. And I said this in our How to Grow Your YouTube Drum Channel video. I will engage with somebody,
Mm-hmm.
and I will like engage with them for like a couple of months. If I don't see them engaging with us, I won't unsubscribe to them, but I will stop prioritizing their content to watch.
Gotcha.
Because right now, I think I'm subscribed to like 500 different people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a lot of content to keep up with.
Oh, it is. Yeah,
So you kind of find yourself going, okay, this is impossible. Like by the time, especially the people that are putting out a large quantity of work, by the time I cycle back, they've got 30 videos out. I'm like, I can't possibly watch 30 videos, from from one channel. So that's kind of, and I don't do it to be mean or hateful. That's why I don't unsubscribe. I just am like, okay, well, I'm going to prioritize finding new people. I'm going to prioritize the people that are coming over and we're engaging back and forth. And I've developed some really cool friendships with people, not just on YouTube, but some of those collaborations that we've done have turned into some really cool friends,
Mm-hmm.
for us here in the Drum Attic. And so that's really fun too. And I think we started talking about it, but we've collaborated with people in Spain, Norway, where was the other one? The UK, California, Ohio, but like, it's just crazy that we've like, when was this possible to connect and make music with people globally without traveling? I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think this kind of picked up probably about 2 years ago, I'd say, when I started kind of seeing it. I think the overall condition of what's going on kind of just pushed it into kind of a mainstream thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's great. It's just so cool because I love meeting new people, and I do love, kind of chatting with people from different cultures and hearing their takes on things. And in Canada too. How could I forget Canada? He's a great friend of ours now too. I guess because I made the American mistake where you assume that Canada and the U.S. are kind of the same.
Oh, no, that's a bigger country up there.
If he hears this, he'll be like, you're a wiener.
So what channels would you recommend checking out that you've done duets with and etc.?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So there's the ones that we've done duets with. Definitely, I recommend them. We're working on one for the future with Marcus Drums. He's my buddy from Canada.
Oh, nice.
Super cool guy, great drummer. Just built a new studio. It's sick to me. It's just great stuff. He's solid. Blake Nunn Drums in California. Cool guy. Lots of cool content on his channel. Great drummer. I think Wednesday we released our second collaboration with him.
Oh, nice.
Daddy Drums in Spain. Does some really cool covers, does some live streams. Jordan JMS Drums. He has a channel that really kind of targets like church drummers. Mm-hmm. But we did a really cool collaboration a little bit ago. Great drummer, great dude. Harry Hansen out of Norway. I think he's kind of gravitated more toward like short form stuff, like with TikTok and everything. Mm-hmm. But he's still got his YouTube channel, some cool content there. Really nice guy, fun, creative stuff on his channel. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm afraid I'm going to forget somebody. Mike Levinsky in California. We just did a Need to Breathe cover not too long ago. And Drums by Ash Wells in the UK. We did two with him actually. And he's a cool guy, and he's kind of what his whole channel is kind of about, chronicling his learning through drum covers. So nice. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot to check out there. That's quite a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And you could, of course, if you like scroll through our videos, you could find these guys and click on their channels. And also, like a couple of my other favorite people to watch with those guys are Earl Bennett. Earl, I think his channel is Earl Drums. Forgive me, Earl. Mm-hmm. He is a killer player. Does a lot of R&B and gospel stuff, and he is just and like real throwback stuff. And he is just a phenomenal player. Trey B, he's a heavy hitter. Love his stuff. It's always amazing to me. It's like, I don't know how you are, Dustin, but I'm always like, I kind of operate off the assumption that everybody's better than me. So like when I see somebody like just crushing it, I'm like, I like almost want to stand up and applaud the screen, you know, like, oh, it's just so awesome.
Yeah, that's a good and a bad mindset, I guess. You know, it's good to be humble, but yeah, you got to give yourself credit here and there.
That's true, and that's what Loretta says to me too. She's like, "You're a good drummer. You need to stop poo-pooing on yourself." You know, like,
yeah, I mean,
you're a good drummer.
It's good to have confidence, but don't want to be too cocky. I mean, like I always trying to take.
Yes.
I try to learn and steal chops from a lot of people, if that makes sense. You know.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's the thing about drummers is you're always stealing from other drummers. That's kind of the common core of it all.
Yeah, right, exactly. And it's neat because when you do it right,
and stealing's like, not a good word to say, but really that's what you're doing when you watch other drummers, you know.
Yeah, and I think if you approach it, you know, like you're like, okay, I love this lick that Dustin just did. Mm-hmm. Now, how do I apply that and kind of give it my own thing, you know? So, and I think that's the thing with covers too, is there's some people that are definitely truists, and there's nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. But my approach and what I like is you take the framework that's there in a song, and you know the drummer that played that track gave you an outline, and then without overplaying, to just find ways to make it Eric, to make it Dustin, and just color it a little bit.
Yeah, I don't ever play a thing to exactly note. I like to kind of play it as a cover, like my version of it, and I think trying to learn note to note kind of takes the fun out of it a little bit.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think the danger is, and I know, and like I've listened to your covers, and you certainly don't do this, and I certainly try not to do this, but the danger I think is thinking that you have to overplay, to be like, look at what I could do, And,
there's just, you always got to find the right moments to shine in a song, but still play for the song.
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, and that's kind of the art of it as well too.
Exactly, making the art of it. I think that's what it is. It's because you're creating, and it's with covers. It's interesting because you're taking something that exists and then trying to create something uniquely yours through that pre-existing media.
Mm-hmm. So before I let you go, Eric, what's in the future for the channel, and are you going to be playing with bands in the future live at all?
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I feel really good with the Dramatic. In the past, a lot of my playing, I should say, has been. I grew up playing in church, like I said earlier, and which is its own thing, and I still play in church. I still love that. When I was younger, I definitely wanted to tour. That was like my dream, but kind of the dream has been playing. So I feel like the Dramatic has really been kind of like an all-encompassing outlet for me that allows me to kind of live that dream from the comfort of my home.
Oh yeah.
Because we live out here in North Carolina, and so like I was talking to you earlier, we were mowing lawns tonight, and last night we mowed our lawn, and so there's lots of work to do, and I've kind of grown to be a bit of a homebody.
Oh yeah.
So the only way I would go on the road is like if I could take Loretta and our dogs with me,
yeah, I can relate to that as well.
But so I other than just playing at church, like I think the Dramatic is kind of where I feel like I've locked in. I really enjoy it. I get to play what I want to play, and that I think is worth its weight in gold.
Yeah,
there's nobody saying you can't play that, or those aren't the songs we're playing for 20 weeks.
Yeah.
That said, I did do one of my favorite experiences, and I'll just share this one, and then I'll tell you about what else is in store for the Dramatic. I did play. It was right when Loretta and I started dating. I was playing drums for a local production of Green Day's American Idiot.
Oh wow!
And it was fun, and I loved it because I got to do most of the rehearsing at home, unlike normal theater, where if you're an actor, you're there like 5 nights a week for 2 months. And then the shows. So it was wonderful. But I had to learn a lot of music because I was familiar with a couple of Green Day songs, but never the breadth of their catalog. Since then, I've become a fan. But yeah, man, it was just fun rocking up there on stage because you were part of the show. You weren't like a pit orchestra.
Mm-hmm.
You were like on the stage with the cast, and it was killer. We had a great time. The first night they had to stop the show because somebody threw up in the audience.
Oh, Jesus.
They blamed the strobe lights, but I was like, I said to the bass player, I'm like, it's rock and roll, man.
Yeah, that's what it is.
But coming down the road, we are in the process of planning to convert one of our the barns on our property, at least part of one of the barns, into a new studio.
Oh, wow.
So this will give us a little more space. In the videos, the attic looks way bigger than it is. Every time I get behind a kid, I hit my head and knock a hat off the wall with my butt. I don't say that like as a complaint. I'm so thankful to have a place to practice, when and to play. When we were in Lexington, we didn't have that space. So it was wonderful to have the space to do it. And what's funny is Loretta was like, hey, what if we converted this into a studio now, and that way you have more room. We can probably do more with this. You won't hit your head, knock hats off the wall, whatever.
Yeah.
So hopefully within the year, we'll have this converted into a studio. So I'll be like posting as we start to work on it. I'll be posting pictures. It'll probably be a slow going process because we'll have to do it as we have the money to do it. But so I'm super excited. And like you said earlier, like it's so important to have a supportive, parents as you're learning to play growing up, and a supportive significant other. I mean, because especially one that's like, hey, why don't we spend money on making you another drum studio?
Yeah, that's pretty badass.
that's pretty awesome. Yeah, indeed it is.
Yeah,
she rocks.
Well, Eric, it's been a real pleasure having you on the show. And like I said, please check out Eric's. It's just simply Drum Addict. He's got a lot of cool stuff, and I have a feeling he's got a lot more cool stuff on the way. Thanks a lot, Eric, for being on.
Oh, Dustin, my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on. And again, a big fan of your show as well. And
appreciate it.
I appreciate it. I feel real special being asked to be on here.
All right. Well, we'll talk to you soon, Eric. Thank you.
All right. My pleasure, Dustin. Take care.